Hi everyone, Ohayo gozaimasu. Welcome! This channel is for Japanese learners of English. Kiyomo shadowing no lesson wo yadakimasho. Listen to today's real native conversation. Focus on the rhythm and shadow along. Practice daily to master tango, bunpao, hatsuan, and rhythm. Repeat and try again tomorrow if needed. Zehi. Chanaru no toroku wo onegai shimasu. Okay, are you ready? Here we go.
Ever found yourself wondering what's the best way to just check in on someone, like a casual how's it going in English? Turns out there's a whole bunch of ways to do it.
Yeah, it's not just a simple how are you, is it? I mean, there's so many ways to say how's it going, which makes it that much more interesting.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like you wouldn't ask your boss the same way you would ask your best friend, right? So let's break down some of these phrases for different situations and what they really mean.
That's a great idea. Let's start with the basics then. How have you been is a pretty standard one, and it's used to ask someone about their recent well-being or what they have been doing.
Right, and it implies you haven't seen or spoken to them in a bit. It's like, hey, what's been going on since we last connected?
Precisely. There's also, how have you been doing recently? Which is similar, but it emphasizes the recent aspect.
Makes sense. It's like, how is life treating you lately? Now, what if you want something even more laid back?
Then you'd probably use what's up or what's new. Those are super casual, like asking a friend what's going on in your world.
I hear those all the time in movies. What's the hap is another one, even more slangy if you want to get down with it.
What's the hap? How's it? And even just, ayu, that's definitely in the casual zone.
Yeah, those are very informal. You'd use those with your close buddies. Now, how about if I want to use a more general and everyday way to check in?
Then you'd go for, how's it going? Or, how are things? They're like the go-to phrases for a quick check-in, not too deep, not too casual, but just right.
Right, like a general how's life, but less heavy. And what if I want to know what they've specifically been doing?
Then, what have you been up to lately? Or, what's been happening? Are good choices. They're like asking, hey, what's been occupying your time lately?
Okay, I see that difference. And what about those times when you sense things might be a little tough for them?
That's when you might use, how are you holding up? It shows that you're concerned, like, are you doing okay given everything?
That adds a layer of empathy to the question, so it's more for someone who's going through something you already know about?
Exactly. It's like you're saying, I know you're dealing with something. How are you coping?
That's a really useful distinction. What about when you are not sure when you last spoke to them?
How have you been keeping? Works for that. It's like, it's been a while. How have you been? With a slightly more formal tone.
And just to confirm, how is everything these days? Or how has life been treating you? These are also valid options, right?
Yep, those fit right in. They're like a slightly more detailed way of asking, how's your life going? They are also good if you haven't been in touch for a bit.
This is great. I feel like I am getting a better sense of all the choices. How about some examples of conversations using these phrases?
Sure. You could start with, hey, how have you been lately? Then if you want to know more, you could go with, what have you been up to recently?
And if they seem down, you might follow up with, how are you holding up?
Precisely. It's all about choosing the right phrase for the vibe and the context.
Okay, so it's not just about the words, but also the relationship you have with the person you're talking to.
Exactly. You wouldn't ask a client, what's up, dude, right?
No, not unless you want to be looking for another client. So then it's more, how's everything going for clients and colleagues?
Yeah. How's everything going? Or how are things? Are safe and polite options for those settings. And for friends, what's new or what have you been up to is fine too.
I think that wraps it up nicely. One last point though, what if the other person uses one of these on you? Any advice on what we can say back?
Oh, that's easy. Just keep it simple. If they ask, how have you been? You can say, I've been good, thanks.
Or not bad, how about you, if you are feeling more neutral.
Exactly. And if they use casual phrases like, what is up, and a simple, not much, or just, hey, works fine.
Got it. Keep it simple. So choosing the right how is it going really boils down to knowing your audience, the context, and the level of familiarity.
Precisely. It's about connecting with people in a way that feels natural and authentic. And that's the whole thing, really.
It is indeed. Thanks for clarifying all of that. It has been quite insightful.
My pleasure. It's always good to chat about everyday language and make things just a tad clearer.
Alright, we've finished today's lesson. How did you find it? 理解できない部分はありませんでしたか? Repeat and try again tomorrow if needed. Please let me know your kansa or request in the comments. ぜひチャンネルの登録をお願いします. I look forward to seeing you all again soon. See you next time. Bye bye.